Hi everyone, my name's Alessandro. I'm here to quickly talk about my book, The Cake Theory, available from Chipmunker Publishing. I say thank you to Jason Pegler and Andrew Latchford for giving me the opportunity to speak up. With their publishing company, they promote work by people that have had mental health issues. I thank them for giving me the chance to express my views. I believe basically that mental illness is caused by predominantly environmental factors. So I just think it's a natural reaction to being placed in an impossible social situation. So I'll give you an example. Picture, if you will, a scientist sitting in a laboratory playing around with all the different metals. So there's tin, there's gold, there's iron, there's tungsten. Now they're all metals, but they're all different. So they've all got different melting points. So the tin melts at 232 degrees, the gold melts at 1000 degrees, the iron melts at 1500 degrees, and the tungsten at a whopping 3500 degrees. Now, you want to catch a scientist sitting there scratching his head saying, oh, I wonder why the tin melts at 230 degrees and the gold doesn't. What's wrong with the tin? What happened to the tin? Why does it melt at such a low temperature? It wouldn't happen. But with people, we're all different. So some of us have got, dare I say, low breaking points. There's only so much stress I can handle in life. It freaks me out, all this multitasking. You know, you go for a job interview nowadays. There's one job interview, then a second job interview, then a CRB check, then a reference check, then another check. And it's like, just give me the damn job. That's all I ever wanted. You know, and everything's so complicated, and then when you eventually get a job, there's so much pressure and targets that you end up going berserk. And because I've got a low melting point, I'm conveniently put on a scrap heap, and then they come up with a convenient excuse to let the system carry on, because people with a higher melting point know they can handle it, know they can handle the stress, and they're just happy to watch you fall by the wayside and go forward on the quest for materialistic fulfillment. And it's a shame, because we're only on the planet for 60 or 70 years. Why can't we help each other out a little bit more, instead of getting pleasure from pushing people down and climbing up the slippery ladder of the hierarchy? All for what? Because when people end up rich, they end up not very happy anyway. So I believe we all need different environments. So someone who's good at multitasking in this capitalist dog-eat-dog environment would find it difficult to function in feudalism England, which was a time when knights and barons ran the country. I'd like to see a young lady with a bubbly personality earning £70,000 a year go back to feudal England, knock on the baron's door and say, hi, I've got a bubbly personality, I'm good at selling and marketing, have you got a job? Oh yeah, sure. In a dungeon you go and throw away the key, because it wasn't required in those days. So I think we need to change the environment to suit the person, not the person to suit the environment. And another thing I talk about in my book is stress, and the way stress affects your body. So there's a thing in the body called the central nervous system, which is the brain and spinal cord connected to all other organs in the body. Now a human has a lot of control over the voluntary nervous system, which is the picking up of a heavy object, for example. But there is also an involuntary or autonomic nervous system, which is a lot less easy to control. And this involuntary nervous system controls your heartbeat, blinking, and other involuntary movements. Now, because of this lack of control, when you're under stress, it affects this system, and you can have a variety of things like headache, migraines, panic attacks, and all kinds of other biochemical reactions. Now, what I found is the medical profession doesn't want to admit that migraines are caused by stress, because if they admit that migraines are caused by stress, then they'll have to address the root cause of your problem. And the root cause of your problem was your employer making you work like a dog for long hours. Yeah. So if the doctor admits that stress caused your problem, they'll have to address your working condition. And if they address your working condition, they'll have to question why they earn so much money. And they won't be able to buy a big house with a swimming pool or nuclear weapons and bombs to drop on other countries. So rather keep the economic system going and write you off as having, oh, no one knows what causes migraines, perhaps in 100 years we'll find out. And the doctors and the teachers will uphold this capitalist system the same way that the Muslim imams would uphold and justify their mode of production or their system if you don't fit into their system, or the Roman Catholic Church will uphold their system if you don't fit into a religious system, the same way that the psychiatrists justify why you don't fit into this dog-eat-dog capitalist system. And I think I don't mind having an industrial environment, but I do think it's a little bit too dog-eat-dog, too heartless, and I think we need to, go back to, a more humane approach and just help people get jobs and put, less emphasis on profit making and more on just helping each other eat the loaf of bread we need to survive every day. Another thing I talk about in my book is drugs. So I give you advice on the different types of drugs that are out there, how they affect you, how marijuana affects you, and why it might be good for your friends doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. So I talk about cocaine and heroin and how to stay clear of them. I've also got a very important chapter on sexual inadequacies felt by men with mental illness. I give you advice on how to overcome your sexual feelings of guilt, so you will no longer have to go and see a psychologist or a psychotherapist or a priest or anyone else. I tell you how to use your brain, how to use your sexual organs in a manner that you won't feel guilty or feel bad about yourself anymore. I put all my ideas into a unified whole, which I refer to as a cake, hence the cake theory. And although I don't make any money on my book, I hope it gives people, young men especially with mental illness, the ability to overcome their mental illness and rise above it. And I'd say don't be a victim in life, because there's a lot of roads you can go down. Listen to the psychologist, it's all in your childhood and you'll end up a victim. Listen to the psychiatrist, there's a chemical imbalance, you'll be a victim. Listen to the preacher, it's a sin, you'll end up a victim. I say use your brain and don't be a victim, for Christ's sake. Do not be a victim. Use your brain. I don't make any money in my book, but I hope it gives men with mental illness the ability to rise above and overcome it. So here's my book, available from Chipmunker Publishing. So you have to go out and buy the book, because I don't get any money, and it all goes towards the cause of helping people with mental illness. So thank you for your time, and go and buy the book. Bye bye.